Woo!
There we are. We're live.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Have we got some intel for you, Jennifer?
So this is, I mean, it's been a minute. We were hoping to be on every week, and of course, life is just life. So we say we'll do everything we can to be on every Wednesday on all the different platforms, and just keep on submitting your questions. We have so many questions. We're never going to get to all of them today. And the main one that I have people ask over and over again is about they've been lied to. Yes. Oh my gosh, Merrill, people are really, I mean, nobody likes to be betrayed. Nobody likes to be lied to ever, but especially by some of the financial institutions that we thought we could trust. So let's talk about this huge fraud with Credit Karma.
So we're going to be careful with the word fraud because they do disclaim on page 17 the kind of the rules of the game there, but it's more of a misdirect, misleading, misguiding. In fact, if you go Credit Karma right now, if you go to creditkarma.com, their entire website has been changed to take away to take away the FICO scores, and then right next to it the recommendations that would pull FICO score. We get ahead of ourselves. Let's go through this. All right.
Right.
So in Credit Karma has a very interesting business model. And their business model is to give you free scores and then to make money when you click a button, apply for something, you get a credit card, or you get a loan, or you take advantage of their tax professionals. They make money, referral fees off of those recommendations, right? So that free credit score that you're getting happens to be a FICO score. Now, FICO scores 90% of every transaction in the United States, every financial credit approval, credit decision process uses a FICO score, okay? So FICO score is the gold standard. It's what we believe in. It's what lenders use. So anything that isn't used by a lender, we call a FICO score. FICO scores, again, are what lenders don't use in the credit approval process. All right. So when we look, actually, I did log in, and it's still the same at Credit Karma. If you log in to your Credit Karma, you're going to see 2 scores, not 3, because Experian uses FICO even in their free announcements and free notifications. So you'll only see 2 scores. TransUnion and Equifax both use what's called Vantage Score 3.0. And if you look at down below those scores, right now it says scores calculated using Vantage Score 3. Then you click on the I there, listen carefully. Vantage Score 3 is a credit scoring model. It takes the information in your credit report and turns it into a score. There are many scoring models out there, including ones from FICO and other companies. Each one calculates your score a bit differently, but they all use information from your report. Did it answer any questions that Vantage Score is legitimate? No, it just says that different scoring models use different scores. When you click on learn more about understanding scores, it literally continues this quasi misinformation saying that it uses data from your credit report, as though the data from your credit report determines your fundability. What happens is they're using your data, creating a score, but the score is what we have to use the scores that lenders use, which are FICO. So even though all of them use Experian, TransUnion, Equifax information, the scoring model, the scoring model that lenders trust is FICO. And so the bait and switch occurs because right there on that first page, you see your 2 Vantage Score 3 scores. And to the right of it, it says, by the way, you have a suggested card for you. Here's a suggested card. Apply now. And if you apply, they're not going to use the scores that are there on your Credit Karma page. They're going to use FICO scores. Now, several independent studies have compared users of Credit Karma and those who use myfico.com. Write that down, myfico.com. There are 31 FICO lender scores at myfico.com. And so these studies have established that there is, generally speaking, 80+% of the time, there is a 30-point difference that FICO scores, the Credit Karma scores, are 30 points higher than the FICO score that's going to be used to deny you or included in the approval process. That is not okay. 30-point difference. You walk into an auto dealership holding a 720, and the dealer gives you a financing package that's a 680 or a 690. Come on, that's not okay. But they don't tell you this and even the information that's being, they don't say, oh, by the way, this score is not used by 90% of lenders. If they said that, I would shut my face and leave it to people to click the I and make a decision, the information button, and leave it to themselves. They don't. They don't say we don't use, or lenders don't use this score. Jennifer?
And I think it's so important that we really go back to, honestly, people think of score and it's your credit score. And so then they kind of just skip over a word they don't understand, which I'm going to say, honestly, is FICO. A lot of times people don't know the word FICO as well as, of course, Advantage or any of the other, misdirects. Again, we don't really, it's not fraud per se, as much as it is a misdirect. And unfortunately, if you don't know the difference between FICO and an Advantage score, or really understand, I want to say, the process of financing, whether it's going to get a car, whether it's going to get a mortgage, if you don't understand this, then you can be taken advantage of. And I just feel like that's so frustrating. That was one of the reasons I really wanted to talk about it a little bit in depth. So first of all, just give a little bit of understanding about what FICO means.
Yeah, FICO stands for Fair Isaac Company, CO for fun. And Fair Isaac were two partners, two data analysts in the 50s. FICO has been around. I even heard somebody say this yesterday, who was a mortgage professional for 30 years. He literally says, yeah, FICO scores came on the scene in 1989. I'm like, what are you talking about? Lenders have been using FICO scores since the 50s to establish risk in lending. We didn't know about it until this dastardly little thing back in 1996. The Fair Credit Reporting Act was amended, saying that every single consumer had the right to get a copy of their credit profile, a consumer disclosure of their raw data. Consumer disclosure of the raw data. People call it a credit report, but those are different. We don't have time today to discuss that. But this consumer disclosure was to show all the information in your file. Well, the Bureau said, well, we don't want to give them all this stuff for free. That's now a cost center to us. And you can go get a copy of your consumer disclosure files from annualcreditreport.com, annualcreditreport.com. But here's what's interesting. They didn't want to give this for free, so they decided to offer a fake score you could purchase, and they just literally made up a fake score. FICO's been over here working by this time for 30 years, scoring lender data in the background. The Bureau said, let's just create, and what they created was the beginning of the Vantage score, this fake score, and they started scoring their own, and that's why you went all the way back to annualcreditreport.com. They went back to, let's say, when they started gathering. They remember the guy who played the banjo and said freecreditscore.com, right? And making fun of people who didn't have, he says, I live on my parents' couch, and they compare, get your credit score. Get your credit score. And so a whole bunch of what are called wholesaling credit bureaus started providing credit reports with these fake scores. And now all of a sudden, the market is being flooded by fake scores. And that's when FICO said, whoa, we got to at least give them the real intel. And in 2001, that's when they established myfico.com, where you could order the credit report and the real scores. And so if you want the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth about your score, then it's auto scores, mortgage scores, credit card, unsecured credit card and loan scores. All of those are at myfico.com. That's the place where you get the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
So last question, and I know we got to go, is about I want to talk about getfundablejennifer.com, but I wanted you to say, so Credit Karma, though, they actually got into a little bit of trouble, a little bit of hot water for this, didn't they?
Yeah, because they were misrepresenting the importance and the value of these scores. They were fined by the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission. They were fined $3 million for misrepresenting these very scores. So what did they do? They went and redesigned their website. But right now you see your scores and you see a suggested card right there. You click on that, they're not going to use those scores. It's still misrepresentation. There's not an education piece that says, hey, here's the truth of what's actually happening when you see this information. There's no full disclosure. There is no transparency. And so this is not okay. And for those of us who are interested in your fundability, Jennifer and my commitment to you to get fundable, we've provided the Get Fundable Jennifer. There's an amazing course on getting rid of the myths that are associated with your profile and getting rid of associated with personal and business credit. Learn the truth, and the truth will make you fundable.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. I know we went a little bit over time, but we'll be back next week unless some other hurricane or some other crazy travel or some other weird thing that happens for one of the two of us. So anyway,
it's always a pleasure, Jennifer. Always a pleasure to shake people. Let's shake it up out there.
Yeah, let's find a way to continue to help people. Thank you, Merrill.
Absolutely. Be well. Be well.